started with in order for games. So, first game we've got this weekend is between Reading and Thames Valley Cavaliers. I'm joined by Leon Francis and Saeed Amini from both teams respectively. Welcome, guys. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Yourself?
I'm really excited about tonight. Thanks to the NBL sort of Rippers collab, we set up a group chat. It's been like a lot of light-hearted discussion. So I think it's going to be a great show. I thought I'd start off as often in British basketball, a lot of people know each other. It's quite a small knit community, and I knew when you both came on this evening, you both knew each other. So maybe just start with Liam. How far do you guys go back? And what you look forward to this weekend?
You know what? I can't remember how far we go back. We've played against each other. Let's say with a basketball community in this country, I know everybody's close knit. I remember playing against each other as youth, and I remember playing when I was at university. I'm sure we played against Zaid in UEL in one of the was it in the quarterfinals of the cup? I remember we playing a game at UEL I'm not too sure then. I'm not going to embarrass myself and then make things up. But yeah, I remember we played against each other several times. And I went to Northampton University in the end. Yeah, so I remember when we played there. Yeah, but so I remember just going back and playing over the years, or just knowing each other over the years for a while. And as I say, when we play on the court, I don't remember history. I just remember you just tally off the marks and the teams would be. No.
With Liam, I remember playing with him. Midnight Madness. That's where the time it could have been as well. Yeah, Midnight Madness. He come down with Merson and Jason. That's the Northants.
Yeah. Facts. Go back though. We go back though. It's over years.
Yeah.
Definitely. I know we're here to preview the game, but actually, Midnight Madness keeps coming up for me. I've only really been following the game for 3-4 years. So, sort of tell us a bit about Midnight Madness. What made it such a great event for yourself? I keep hearing about it. I'd love to learn a bit more.
So, growing up playing basketball, opportunities around London weren't really the widest. So, there weren't too many competitions to get involved and play against elite players, kind of showcase talent. It was Namo Shiri and Coach Junior Williams who kind of put Midnight Madness together, from what I know of pretty much. But they put on pretty much a great show where they toured the whole of England, setting up runs, Bristol, Milton Keynes, Leeds, a whole bunch of places. They covered around a few spots in London, Copperbox Arena. And every year it just kept getting better and better, to be honest. So kind of like growing up playing it, I was actually a junior playing under 18. So it was just like I was 15, 16, I think, trying to make it for the under 18 squad. I think I kind of made it short that year, made it to boot camp, and then pretty much worked harder the next year, made it to the finals the following year. But all in all, it's just you get to meet the small basketball community around the area, other teams, and then pretty much you meet all people in all walks of life. So it's like Leon, met Leon playing in that Madness, probably played against his team a few times.
Yeah, trust me.
Yeah.
Also, we've got Rupert. Sorry, also got Rupert, the producer, on my ear, saying that. Also, shout out to Jackson Gibbons. I think it was part of that team who made Midnight Madness what it was.
JJ.
Leo, what are some of the highlights for you, Leo, for Midnight Madness?
Honestly, I love Midnight Madness. It was it was JJ, Nama Shiri, Junior. They brought it together. It was an opportunity for everyone around the UK. So as we had our system. We didn't really have EABL back then, so we had this the systems and everything set up for like NBL and from your junior leagues. But it really gave both men's and women's basketball opportunity for everyone to get out and compete outside of that structure. it's one of the most competitive, because of the nature of it, it's one of the most competitive tournaments I've been a part of. So, as they said, you'd have your qualifiers, which are set up around the country. You'd have tens. There's thousands of attendees, and their motto was "ball without bias." So the way they did the stats and the way they did the competition, it was you had to play hard, you had to compete. It wasn't about friendship. It was no friendship goals. You had to come out and compete against the best, and show your game and show why you were worthy of being, but worthy of winning the gold ticket. So I'd say each of the qualifiers, I believe there was the years I competed, there was 10 qualifiers. You had probably about 25 individuals. So you had hundreds of individuals going to these qualifiers. You had 25 individuals from each one, 10 individuals from each one. Eventually, actually going to the regionals, which ended up at Jesse Boots. And then throughout there, we'd I say you're competing from some of the best around the country. My experience, I actually won on the 2 times I actually won. Not to brag against everyone else, but I loved it. So I won one more time. So the first time the first time we went to
win a year. I think it was. I've even got the trophy just sitting there, but
the trophy was fat as well. That's what I'm trying to say. You can
yeah. Because I think
quality,
them times I was the under-19s lot. They just gave us like a small plaque, but the older heads they all got like a big ass trophy. So,
we got. It was nice, man. I say the first year we went away to America. So there was myself. There's I think Iliandro, Ryan Martin, Rima. There was a good bunch of us went away to America and we were touring up and down the East Coast, and playing different schools out there. And as we went across, we had the opportunity to several people offered scholarships from that. So it was a great opportunity, as I say. And being at that stage, you didn't have to. There was no cost. There was no anything. The amount that went into it, it was an amazing competition. It's tough not to see it around nowadays. Actually, I know. I don't know if, let's say, behind the scenes anything's going on. But then the second trip went to Madeira for a while. It was a great competition, man. As I say, the people you meet, whether it's at the competition itself, whether it's at the games, you stay in contact with them. That's the same with me and Zaid. So many friends from here and there. It was really good, man.
I think you guys summed up well. From everything I hear, it definitely seems like something people loved and would love to see back. Obviously, we've got this opportunity to have the Lynch trophy. Leon, obviously the first game didn't go totally to plan in terms of getting the win. I know you're competitive, you like streaking the lines of the victories. Quickly sort of sum up that game, what went well, what maybe could have gone better, and then obviously looking ahead to faces. And then after that, sort of talk a bit what you expect from TBC.
It was against my old team, Hemel. They're a great team. Had great coaching, Drew. Team that have been together. I say a lot of their players are returning and play together. It was the first time you look at this. I guess the senior players in our team, or look at across the basis of our team. It's the first time we've really all stepped on the court together. We're trained, everything like that, but it's the first time we've really stepped onto a court into a competitive fixture. So, in terms of us gelling, I'd say it was an opportunity for us to learn each other's tendencies, the way we each other's playing styles. Negative points, I wouldn't say negative because you grow from everything. So every bad situation you can use to grow. So I wouldn't say anything negative. I'd say as we're all teammates, we're all brothers. We outside of the thing, we're growing. As soon as the game was done, we're even growing instantly throughout the game. So in terms of the result could have been better, but as I say, you take that and grow. If we went out there and won and played a bad game, we may have not have improved as much as we would have done taking an L and thinking, you know what, it wasn't, I think we lost by 12 in the end. It wasn't a heavy loss, but in terms of the way our team looked at it was in terms of how we played alongside each other and how we were missing, as I say, we're missing 3-4 senior players. Myself, it was my first game back from slight injury, so I was on reduced minutes. We had some of us senior players that weren't able to play, unfortunately. So it was only upwards that we could look from there. Going into tomorrow's game, I'd say a couple of guys on the team, we're they're a strong team. Sorry. So we watched their game against Oakland last week and could see their strong points, could see their try to identify their weaknesses. So I say we're going to try to do that tomorrow and come away with the dub.
Definitely. And say what you saying, obviously day one went well, you got the win. And then maybe recap what went well, what some of the reflections from that game were, maybe what you expect from Reading as well.
Game one, to be honest, because we hadn't played structured basketball in so long, it could either go two ways. It could either go really well or really bad. And I think we did start off a bit shaky, to be honest, at the beginning of the game. But to reflect on that, our practices have been a lot better than how we actually started off that game. So it didn't really kind of show out too well at the beginning, but we kind of picked things up, got back into rhythm, got things going again, and managed to get a decent lead on them and kind of push the game out by like the third, fourth. So I think we lost one of our players, Martel Mackles. He was one of our main scorers as well. So quite a few other players need to kind of step up, fill in that scoring role. So we do have Taylor, who's one of our main scorers alongside Blaine. So pretty much, yeah, those guys need to keep doing what they're doing, and we'll be expecting to play Reading this weekend. So hopefully we get these new players going and see how things go, to be honest.
Definitely. I see we're all wearing some top brands. Obviously, Liam, you got your Nike top. I got my Always Baller hoodie on. I see you got a uni top there, Sade. Is that from one? We'll get to that in a bit, Liam.
It's a Brunel uni jacket here.
Yeah, we're sporting good brands there. Come on then, Liam. What was it like to for Liverpool to finally win the titles? I know you've been a lifelong fan.
Listen, I'm talking about basketball, but if we want to talk about football, listen, I've waited years for this, so it was amazing. It was amazing to see it happen. To see us champions of the England, technically champions of the world, because won the Club World Cup, champions of Europe. I feel like Klopp right now. It's like speaking of this, it's like yeah, this is what I'm cheating. Nah, but listen, where I grew up, there's always football banter. There's always a football talk. There's always football chat. That chat stopped in about, I think it's about February. I think it stopped about Christmas. So then when it was clear cut, and it was like, listen, we haven't heard anyone speak on football and where I'm from anyway, or in any of the group chats since. So that's been the most glorious time for me. Just being able to. I've tried to remain humble, so I'm not trying not to gloat. But I say this year's been beautiful. And then some of the transfers that I say outside of basketball, I'm a huge football fan. So some of the transfers and some of the things that Liverpool have done in the last, it's been incredible for me. And all Liverpool fans worldwide. So anybody watching is a Liverpool fan. They understand exactly how I feel. And we're back on our perch. So that's where I'd like for us to remain. Yeah.
Definitely,
Good.
I thought I'd just mention it. I see you got the shirt, and I know you're probably very proud. Obviously, you guys just talked about that game coming up this weekend. If you want to watch it, as per all but one game, it's live streamed. That was at 3:15, and as our first game on Saturday, so I'm really looking forward to watching that one, as with all of them. Both of you guys, I think you said it yourself, said there was a bit of rustiness in day one, and I wasn't was not expecting it, but not sure what to expect. Do you think, Leo, that rustiness will be gone by now, or do you think it'll take maybe a few games to be fully up to 100% speed?
I'll be honest, I'll be lying if I'd say any team would be fully equipped to go in. After a 7-month, 8-month break, I think most of us are just happy to be back on the court and playing basketball. There's not with a lot of sports, or even a lot of the divisions, some of the other divisions, not a lot of guys have the opportunity to be able to get back out and do it. So I think we're all in a blessed position and grateful just to be back out playing with our teams, playing the sport we love, and doing what we doing what we love, really. In terms of rust, we're going into the second game after 8-9 months. I really think it will take probably, I'm speaking for half the teams I spoke to. I know a lot of the guys about the league. We're looking probably about 2-3 games getting into the league before teams really feel gelled, shaking off any injuries, any early season, just getting into it really. So I think tomorrow's going to be a good game. As I say, we both got talented rosters. It's probably going to be one of the games to watch for the day. But as I say, we're second game in. I think we're just grateful to be back out there at the moment. Learning from each other. With most teams around the league are going to have new players, all just learning how each other play and then going from there.
Definitely. Anything you'd like to add?
It would just be interesting to play against Alan's team, to be honest. Alan was just one of my old coaches back when I used to play for Felton Warriors, so haven't seen him in a while, so it'd be good to catch up as well.
Definitely. He's one of the established coaches out there, very successful. What is it, both of you guys obviously played under him and be well quick to answer this question. What is it about Coach Allen's team that makes him such a good coach? So I know when he talks, people do listen. I'll start with you, Said.
I mean, as a junior, growing up, it was always... he had a very dominant way of coaching, so it was just like he wouldn't let small things slide. So one thing I learned growing up was he kind of enhanced discipline in all his kids from young. So he was always telling us the small things that pretty much count. He used to come down and help Coach Rudolph at Felton, but he also used to coach also. So I learned quite a lot through Alan, to be honest. Although he used to coach his old school team, Lambton, back in Hounslow. Some of the players used to visit his school and actually go and work out with him to kind of get better. And it was just a few things that he actually taught me growing up that some coaches, not to say didn't know, but he knew and understood the game a lot better. And the way he kind of saw the game and how he actually explained it with things falling into pieces, he'd actually pinpoint specific things that would go wrong. So in defensive principles, for example, there was quite a lot of things like the help side, and growing up, those things are what junior players kind of tend to lack on. So it was just the small things he kind of pretty much taught me that kind of helped me in my game now. So it's just those things that I'm obviously appreciative for. So having a coach like that's always a blessing in disguise, to be honest.
Definitely. Anything you'd like to add, Leo? I know we're sort of cutting towards the time and the next guy's on, but have a few seconds to sort of say what Coach Keane means to you as you coming back after last season.
I was excited to come back and be coached under Coach King. He's I'd say with all coaches, he's when it comes to X's and O's, he's great. When it comes to drawing them tactically, he's great. And I think that's something a lot of players really aspire to, or I say when you're being coached, it's something you do look for. But one thing I do think is that goes very under acknowledged is the emotional intelligence as a coach, the way he manages the mental aspect of players, the way he can, you can break it down to a player, you can make a player know, you can let a player know, okay, you're doing something wrong or doing something right. The way he manages players from a emotional aspect, I think is incredible. And that's why I believe a lot of players listen to him or come to an understanding, because he's able to reach them in that aspect and help them improve themselves and their understanding of not only the game, but basketball's not just a physical game, a tactical game. The way he approaches it from a mental and emotional aspect, I think is incredible. And so that's a huge thing that's going to make us much stronger as a team this season.
I'll be looking forward to the game. As I mentioned, it's 3:15 tomorrow, all games streamed live on the basketball game, except Leicester Hoods, who Lynch set up. Thank you both for coming on. You're great guests. I feel like I've learned lots, even though I felt like I probably know a bit already, but thank you both for coming on and sparing your free time talking to me. Stay safe and good luck for both teams tomorrow.
Thanks very much.
Cheers, Chris.
Look after yourself, bro.
Cheers, mate.
See you later, bro.
Oh, that was seamless. They came, and now we've got Kieran Wright from the Hoods and Alex Wilson from Leicester. Welcome, guys, and welcome to the Lynch Trophy preview show. How are you guys doing? Start with Alex. How are you?
Hi, man. Thanks for having us.
You're welcome. Kieran, how are you? How's things your end? We'd see you fine, Kieran. If do you see us? Well, I think he's frozen. I think. While we're waiting for Kieran, Alex, obviously, last weekend you guys changed out on the floor, which must be really frustrating for you guys. But as announced earlier, you guys will be facing each other tomorrow, but obviously not live stream. What does it mean for you guys to come back on the floor after so much time out?
Oh, it's going to be weird. I think there'll be some butterflies, I guess, tipping the ball up. But I mean, what's it been, like 7-8 months, like you said, that we've been out? It's going to be. I think everybody's just missed it. You know, there's a thing in British basketball where every season you sort of convince yourself not to stop playing. You know, especially as you get a bit older and there's more money to be made from jobs and family commitments and stuff. But being out that long, I think so many people just miss it. And it's going to be great to be back.
Definitely. I think that is a real important message. I know a few guys coming back this season out of retirement or coming out last season. Well, I think we've lost Alex too here. 1 second. Yeah, I think what Alex said was really important. I hope we get both guys on. I say the guys that work ethic for guys put on and off court is admirable to say at this level. Oh, we got you back, Alex. I was just saying, I think you made a really important point because I see a lot of guys like Tyre come back to retire. Do you hear us okay?
Yeah, I can hear. I think it's every time Kieran logs in, I seem to freeze.
Yeah, we'll try and work on that. I know Rupert's working really hard behind the scenes. They're a great producer. If you're new to the channel, give UpStreamedia and like to subscribe. Rupert works really hard outside his own job to put on an amazing show, like to host with an ambitious lineup of every team playing in the Lynch Trophy. Yeah, I think you made a really good point, Alex, about the players sort of thinking, judging how to make a living, but also enjoy a living with basketball. What's the mood like in Leicester camp? Because obviously the uncertainty to have a massive factor, but is it mostly excited, missing basketball feeling, or was there a bit of nerves as well, do you think?
No, I think everyone's just raring to go. It was kind of a bummer last week, but we had a day's notice, I guess, when we found out that we couldn't do it. It's all understandable reasons, lots of precautions put in place with England basketball.
I think Alex, I think every time
super excited,
we lose,
to be honest.
Yeah,
I know I am.
Yeah, I mean, did you manage to watch any of the games from last weekend? What were some of your insights from watching the games?
Yeah, so I watched all of the games that I could get. The streaming would work. I know there was one of the games that broke up, but then it was added again later. But I was able to watch all the games, and other than maybe the first 30 seconds, the first few offenses of each game, everyone settled right back into it. The thing that takes a while is game fitness. Game shape is very different. You can't really simulate it. You can scrimmage, but in scrimmages, people take plays off. You cheat when you know the plays that your own teammates are running and all of those things. But yeah, man, it's actually great to see basketball and see people that obviously I've had no contact with for 8 odd months. We'd normally see each other in the summer playing and stuff. So it was good to see everyone out on the court and enjoying it.
Definitely. It's quite a tight community. Everyone knows everyone. Yes, I think the game I was commentating on had a lot of technical difficulties, which we weren't aware of in the studio, which is unfortunate. I was asking everyone get interact on YouTube comments, and the comments were disabled, but I guess that's something teaming problems first week off the court. Yeah, when I was sort of preparing myself to watch the games, I wasn't sure what to expect. Like you, I thought, well, training is one thing, playing the games differently, because obviously, like you say, you know what your team's going to do, you know you guys inside out, but actually, how do you know how, even you might know the other team, how they play together? What are you expecting from Leicester? So they've been a bit quiet with their roster. Sorry, with the Hoods. What do
From
you
Hood.
think to expect from them?
We always have good battles with Nottingham. You know, it's a local place. We've had players that have played for each team. We've played against each other or been teammates at some point with lots of the players around Nottingham, and scrimmages and stuff. It not being very far from Leicester or from us in the Midlands. So we get to know the guys personally. And then they're always close games every time we play them. They're a similar club to us, usually in about where they finish, usually. But I like to think that we get the better hand a bit more often than they do.
You did last time you guys met. I think it was one of my favourite games to watch on NBL Live. Do you remember that game when I think Hoods were actually leading, then you had a really good forecourt. I think Martindale, TJ sort of shot for lights out near the end. What were some of your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, so I wasn't at that game, so I was injured, so we were really short on numbers in that game, and sometimes when you're short on numbers, you find something from somewhere, and like you said, TJ played really, really well. I know Ewan played big for us, and Ewan played for Hoods the year before he was with us. He's at Hemel now.
Hemel, yeah.
So, yeah, we had big performances from everyone in that game. It was one that I wish I was there for, because it's that kind of atmosphere, and they create that atmosphere at the Hoods as well. You know, when they play home games, it's a great place to go.
Hello, Orlan. You're a bit early, my friend. Yeah, no, I understand. And as I asked you, because obviously we've had both coaches on, and they sort of said, where you guys based, it's sort of a crowded area, because obviously you've got Hemel not too far down the road, Nottingham as well. What were those pre-season scrimmages? Because I imagine you had quite a lot of guys who may not actually sign with you, may sign with Hoods or Hemel. What was that like? How did that affect scrimmages compared to normal? Because I imagine you had more numbers this season and maybe the last few seasons.
Yeah, we actually had quite a lot of people show. I imagine it's because of sort of the restructuring of England basketball and the limitations, and if you're playing in Division 2 and it doesn't count as elite sport, maybe now you decide to try and make that leap up to Division 1, or guys who perhaps can't go abroad who are staying in England. So you end up with loads of guys. We ended up with quite a few at practice, trialing out and stuff. And it's just the same with every team you go to, that gradually whittles down into key players that you had and some key additions that you hope can make some differences to the way you finish in the league table. But to be honest, the numbers were it was kind of a blessing, because it meant that we could get up and down, following all the guidelines and the restrictions we have to do. But it meant that we could have more regular practice and actually start to get into shape.
Definitely. And obviously I feel for the D2 clubs. I'm seeing now that you've got D2 players asking if there's D1 spots. And then you think, oh gosh, that D2 squad, if we do have a situation where D2 come on, they're going to be quite undersized, because D1's quite packed and their players have played D1. It's such a mismatch. And actually now, where I was a bit not on the fence with no relegation and promotion, I definitely feel it'd be really critical for a side that's building a team to then be hurt because an ex-player is actually looking to play D1 this year. And it's caused a lot of debate. What would you say is the right way for a D2 player or D2 club to go about it, maybe? Because I feel like if they're too focused, they won't be in D1. People are like, hang on a bit, know your place, but they're not actually saying they deserve more. But also, as a D2 player, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, in terms of the clubs operating, like coming back?
Yeah, so because obviously, if you were a D2 general manager, uncertainty whether you're playing this season, do you try and be sort of like get onto the table as it is with D1, or do you say, how do you manage, because you've got your players, you're thinking, do I set up a team that's actually young and let those guys go on to play D1 if they can? It's a tough situation for the managers and the whole organisations.
Yeah, I think, in fact, I mean, there's D1 teams that are doing it as well. I know Reading had injury issues too, but they've brought up a lot of their young boys. The no relegation thing is a wonderful opportunity to do that, to really advance some of your younger players. Obviously, in D1, there's always been teams that run younger players anyway, with Barking Abbey and Loughborough obviously running their first year students occasionally and stuff like that. So, basically every team is at some point throwing some younger players into the lineup. But the no relegation thing really allows you to explore that and kind of have a look at different lineups and see what you can get going. Oh, we got Kieran.
We've got Kieran.
All right, fellas.
We're loving it, Kieran. We're good. You've had a nice little 10 minutes to sort it
prep
all out.
time. I've been stressing. What's that? Sorry.
I said it's good we've got you finally. How are you doing?
I'm all right, thanks. How are you guys?
Yeah, we're not too bad. We're sort of just putting the world to rights, sort of talking about general NBL stuff, because there's only so much to talk about knowing. I thought I'd start with yourself. Obviously, your game with Leicester's behind closed doors and without a live stream, but what are you expecting from Leicester?
From Leicester, I'm expecting quite a lot. You have to expect the unexpected. I mean, it's going to be probably a pretty rough game, very physical, very intense. I'm sure Carl Brown will certainly have the guys prepared for us. I think it'll be a really hard fought battle. It's a shame that it's not going to be live streamed. I used to play for KB, and I used to play at Warriors, so I kind of know what it's about there. But I think it should be a really fun game. It'll be really entertaining.
Definitely, and I think this show's gonna be really entertaining, because I remember we were all in the group chat, and you were, I think it was it? You were asking how to prepare for this, and Jordan Santiago has been on before. He messaged max squat and max bench press. I understand you guys trained together, and part of that training, so you had to share videos to prove that you're in the gym. Who wins the battle out of you two in the gym with max squats and max bench presses?
Ooh, I don't know. I wouldn't want to say. I'd say it's probably pretty close though. We had our coach at the time was Mark Woodhouse, a really good guy. To hold us accountable, we had to evidence all our workouts and our weight sessions and our extra practice, like individuals that we did by ourselves. And I'd say me and Jordan were pretty up there with the amount of work that we were putting in, and also the weight that we were pushing. I saw the commentators were loving him the other day, last week. I was loving it too. I was watching him. He was playing really well.
Yeah, a few buzzer beaters in there. What's he like to play with and train with as a person?
He's really competitive, really fiery, really smart. He knows the game. He doesn't really have a skill wise. He doesn't really have a weakness. He can go left, go right, shoot the mid range, shoot off the dribble, shoot the three, pass the ball like the ball's just flying out of his backside. I'm telling you, he does a really good job. And defensively, he's phenomenal. So I think he's kind of one to watch. I think he's gone a little bit under the radar. No one's really known who he is for the last couple of years, but I think he'll probably have a really good year this year.
I think that's a fair comment, and he was one of the standout performances in Game 1. I think one of his members most was that buzzer beater, as we mentioned. We were just talking while we were getting you on air, but I think this year we don't see a lot of youngsters given the opportunity. I know your coach is no different. Obviously, happy birthday to your coach if he's listening. I know it's his birthday today. Without giving away too much and annoying the coach on his birthday, what can we expect from some of these youngsters who I believe will be given minutes on the rotation at Nottingham?
I think you can expect quite a bit. We've got quite a few young guys. We've had a lot of young guys in and around our practice sessions during pre-season. All of them, which have been more than holding their own. Especially the likes of Manpreet Hundle. He's been doing really well, to be honest. I mean, at times there are points in practice there are points in the week where he's the best player in practice. He's doing that well. I think that he'll be definitely one to watch for this upcoming season. I think he'll get a really big opportunity. We've got another couple of other young guys that they're potentially gonna get opportunities. They've put a decent amount of work in over lockdown in their bodies and in the time on court. Well, not on court, but on an outdoor court. But I think you'll see a lot from those. And you've got Sammy Bew as well. Sammy Bew's been doing a fantastic job. He's also over at the academy in Nottingham. He's doing a great job.
I really look forward. I say it's a real shame this game's not being streamed live. Alex, question for you: is there well game or any players we should really be looking out for this Leicester squad, but maybe aren't on the lips of people's minds? Maybe they're not as well known as others, but equally valuable to your squad this season. We lost Alex. Alex here. Well, apologies, guys. Unfortunately, with it going out live, sometimes these things go. And I think I speak for myself as well as for the. Oh, welcome, Alex. Did you hear the question, or shall I repeat it again?
I didn't know. Sorry, I've just come back.
I know. We missed you. You're back now. That's all that matters. So I was just saying, just obviously, Kieran was saying about some of the youngsters that we should watch out for the hoods. And I was trying to want to say from you, without giving away too much, who are maybe some of the names but people don't know, but they should know as either players to watch or want for the future from the Leicester's squad, if you had to pick a few.
In terms of the young players we got with us, I mean, it's not televised, obviously, so we're not going to see. I mean, it's not streamed, so we're not going to see this game tomorrow. But we've got some of the teams getting older, not old, but getting older, and but yeah, we got some younger players, some like university age type players. But there's always under 18s players. Leicester teams run all the way down to the little kiddies, and always producing good players that go all over the country and play all over the place. Or, obviously off into Europe, winning cups and all sorts. But
with both you've been playing under Coach KB, what's he like as a coach for people who don't know about him? I'll start with Kieran.
What's KB like? If you Google it, you might find out the answer. There's a little inside joke there. No, KB's actually quite good to play for. He's really challenging. He challenges your character, challenges you as a player. He's very, very demanding and draws a lot out of you. I personally think, me and KB used to clash a fair bit when I was younger. But I think he is one of the underappreciated coaches in the British game. And I think he does a really good job with the resources that he has. I think KB is actually a really good coach.
And Alex, obviously, Coach Stanley's come in this season. Oh, sorry, Hoods. What of both of you actually, with Coach Stanley coming in, what can we expect from him as a young coach making his name in his first season as a coach? Do you want to take that first, Kieran, and say you're playing under him this season?
Yeah. Ben's pretty organised. Really knows his stuff. He's quite a good people person. He's quite good at sort of getting the guys, especially the younger players, to understand what it is that he wants them to do. He's not really a dictator. Sort of poses questions, probes, prods, gets the guys to think about what it is, so they're sort of taking responsibility for their own decisions as opposed to just being told what to do. I think I'm really hoping, and I think that Ben will do a good job, and I think also it's to keep in mind that it's a sort of long-term process here. Like, we're trying to sort of rebuild and restart from the ground up, and we're involving the juniors a lot more, and we're trying to create a program as opposed to just the first team. So we want our 14s all the way through to our Division 1 team all to have some sort of resemblance of one another.
Definitely. I think this season is that perfect opportunity, but I don't think it diminishes the competition anyway. Alex, what do you think? Do you think actually long-term, having this season to blood youngsters in, do you think that's going to be good for the NBL in the long term?
anyways, I mean, it's always going to be good for those players. And obviously, you know, with a new coach, you get to learn your personnel in a season without relegation, which, you know, obviously good coaches, it doesn't take them long to adjust to that and learn personnel and deal with implementing new systems, or, you know, working out how players can be best used and dealing with personalities and stuff. But it's an opportunity for younger players to be in locker rooms with vets who can sort of teach them the simple things that kids don't normally understand, usually body language and paying attention when you're on the bench and little things like that.
Definitely. I know we're slightly over the time, and I kind of want to keep roughly, so I appreciate you both coming on. Definitely want to get you guys back on again. Hopefully, we're without the internet issues, but unfortunately, sometimes that's what happens with live games. So tomorrow's game is at Gateway College. What time's tips? I don't think that's been published much online. What time are you guys facing up each other tomorrow?
3 p.m., right?
3 p.m.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
That's what I thought. So 3 p.m. at Gateway College. Fingers crossed there's live stats, if nothing else. I know it's not being live streamed. Good luck, and I hope you guys enjoy going back to basketball. It's a shame you guys shouldn't play on week 1, but it's great you're at the party this week, and we'll see what happens. Obviously, there's postponements inside your bubble, whether those games will be rearranged, or I'm not sure what happens. We'll just have to watch this space, but stay safe. Thanks for coming on, and all the best tomorrow. I wish you both best luck in that game.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks very much. Thanks for having me on.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. See you.
It's seamless now. We've got Albert Marguy from Bradford and Lewis Sullivan from Myerscough. Hope you're both well. Welcome, Albert. How are you doing?
Very well, thanks. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, we're not too bad. I think. Here we are. Lewis,
Hello.
welcome.
Hi.
I just see you coming from the digs at Myerscough.
Yeah.
Obviously, this week's your first game at the bubble officially. I know you had a little scrimmage game. How was that scrimmage game for you guys? Watching it would look really good.
Yeah, I think it was a really good opportunity for us to like sort of brush off the cobwebs almost, and like sort of showcase what like the academy's about. More than anything, I think it was great just to see everyone on the floor again after such a long time of like so much uncertainty and like maybe not being able to play again, which is like kind of scary. But it was really good, really great, great game. It was fun to play in.
And obviously, Albert, welcome back. Obviously, you were on here last week previewing that game with Newcastle. You guys got the job done. Convincing win. What were some of the thoughts post game? What went well for you guys?
I think our defense was something that we talked about a lot heading into the game, and of course heading into the season. So on reflection, I think we had some really good phases of the game when we were really, really tough defensively. I mean, across the throughout the game. To be fair, I don't think they had a 20-point quarter. They might have in the fourth, maybe. I can't remember now, but largely we played good defense, but there were some really key aspects of the game, especially in the first half, in that second quarter, where we played some really good defense. So that was something that went positive. I felt coach done a really good job of rotating everybody, especially being first game back. Everybody wants to get their legs a bit loose. I thought that was a really, really good positive. I thought offensively we shot the ball well. We moved the ball really well, punched the gaps, and and everybody got on the score sheet, which is always a good positive. It's a good feel-good factor in the first game of the season. So yeah, a couple of those two things, few of those things went well for us. Still a lot of things for us to improve on when I watched the game take back, and coach took us through some of the stuff that we need to improve on. Like rebounding, which we're gonna have to do better this weekend, but it's a win. First game back, everybody's kind of excited. Jitters and stuff are off now. So yeah, it was good.
Definitely. And Louis, obviously it's not you won't play a fully competitive game, but obviously you guys got to go on tour, get it streamed live. What was some reaction post game? Was there like a bit gentle teasing from a winning team to a losing team. What's it like there, that lovely bubble there?
And the bubble was really good. Like it's, like we've all got back together. Like the returning second years and like some of the first years I've got writing about it, and it's yeah. After the game, there was the teasing and stuff, but like everyone knows, like since we've had so much time away, we've got back out there. We all competed. Everyone recognised that we played hard and it was real fun. Like the practices have been great. All that stuff's been really good.
I stood here, and obviously you got your first proper game versus Bradford. What's coach said about Bradford, and maybe what some things you expected from this game?
Just physicality, like playing hard. We match up well against them. We just got to try and like bring our energy, play our game, focus on what we need to do. Try our best.
Definitely. And Albert, sort of chemistry-wise, you had those two Liverpool guys in the squad. How quickly do you think it'd take them to be fully up to speed? And what went well with them in terms of fitting into the squad, fitting into the plays? Was it reasonably good fit from what you could expect from game one?
Yeah, I think so. I think they not to sound like a cliche and give them so much credit after the first game, but they just what we needed. I think Uche, not to say less than like 15 minutes. I think he finished about 10 and 8. Big boards. Time as well had 8 boards, which was time can be effective on the offensive end. But it's for me anyway. It's his defensive prowess, his ability to get around the floor, guard multiple spots, and like I said, rebound, really get up. So yeah, I really thought they're going to help us. And after that first game, it was so reassuring because I felt they had a really, really good first showing. They know the team well. They communicate fantastically well. They committed on the defensive end, which is obviously our focus. Yeah, I think those guys can help us massively. I mean, in terms of an IQ, they have fantastic IQ of the game. Um, they're nice guys. We get along. I get along with them just fine. The team gets along with them just fine. So they're really, really, slowly, getting used to us and the team. It's good when they say, it's good to be around us because, when I was in D1, there isn't like the community, where you don't play too many teams that you don't know too many guys that you don't play against very much. So for them to come in our circle, in our kind of it's really good that they have stepped into that and embracing what our culture is. So I'm really, really happy to have them on board.
And you're saying, obviously, you want to be better on the rebounds this time around. What threats do you think this Myerscough squad pose, or is it quite hard to say because they've got such big depth? What are some things maybe you're looking to see from them this weekend?
They have youth and they're very, very quick and direct team. Watching their game last week against each other, they really get up and down the floor. They're aggressive defensively. They switch up their defense as well. But yeah, the youth is something that we're going to have to keep up with. We're going to have to make sure that we try and control the pace of the game because they're a very talented bunch. Got guys that can get into the paint. They got shooters. Obviously, I'm speaking to one of them now. So they got a really balanced attack. And not to mention, you can't speak about the 2 inside guys that they had who guys are they're real dominant. We know great from Bradford and seeing Agu do his thing out there last week. He's going to be a force to handle. So no, they got a really and put a much better performance that we did last week anyway because we're still have a lot of weapons.
And you, Lewis, obviously, I think Albert touched some really good points, and I really enjoyed watching your game, and I feel Myerscough do really good all-round product in terms of like exposure for the team, ability on the court with your EYBL, and lots of things going in the right direction. But sometimes I think maybe people aren't always as knowledgeable about maybe the academy sides they are about maybe BBL or NBL. Without giving away too much about some of you guys, maybe just a little insight to some of the key players that you think will shine this weekend. I know you obviously can't name everyone. Maybe someone who you think's going to be able to cope with the tall guys of Bradford with rebounds, or maybe who's going to shoot well on the floor. What are some of the things maybe people watching don't know about your team, but will be on show this weekend without giving too much away?
Well, obviously we've mentioned Frank and Great. Those are two very big players. You know, they'll go very far. Frank, obviously, he's a big boy. He knows how to rebound the ball. Some of the other guys like Joseph Bancoli, he's shooter, athletic. You know, like he's player. Pedro Ellie. Yeah, those guys. You know, we're a very young team. You know, we like to get after it. You know. Great's another big person. He gets a lot of rebounds. Plays hard, has a big voice. It's a big personality.
Yeah, so we had Great on last time. He was a great guest, and I'd love to know, because obviously with a young side, it has its challenges, but I think you alluded to there being great, being wonderful voices. Who are some of the voices in the locker room that are really important? Who's sort of like G's the guys up? Who's like the joker? So what is sort of the personality mix like in that locker room?
Yeah, the locker room's always a good laugh. You know, like again, Great's one of those people that's like he's got that personality, makes everyone laugh. Really good, like sort of team bond. Like we're really well bonded as a team. The ethos is real good. Then like even out with the locker room back in like the blocks and stuff, everyone's like getting along well. It's real good environment to be in, especially when you're playing basketball. It makes it playing so much easier.
Yeah, I can imagine that it's great to have basketball back. I'm looking forward to watching the games this weekend. Give us a little bit of insight what coaches said to you guys in terms of what's the message from coaches. Bear in mind this is now game 2. Has there been any specific instruction that he's given you, or is it more words of encouragement?
Yeah, the coach has been real good. You know, he's just like wants us to like play like with freedom and stuff, and he wants us to be able to like express ourselves. Yeah, he's given us some stuff, you know, like that, but that's for every game, you know, like personnel, etc. We have people we have to look out for. You know, but yeah, he's put a real focus on us being like expressive and like not being robots and stuff, like getting like looking for other options through things and such like.
That's really interesting to hear. Albert, what's your coach been like in terms of the message to you guys going to game 2 with a game in the bag?
Building. Honestly, it's just building. So you know, I know I keep harping on about defense, but you know, we firmly believe as a group we can score with the best of them in the league. You know, we feel our success is going to be determined on how effective and how tense and aggressive our defense is. So coach has been putting a lot of emphasis on that side of the floor. That's been there for a number of years. Like I said, we've got the 2 new guys from Liverpool, and we've got one of the university guys, Ed Barks, who played last week. So it's 3 new guys added to quite, guys. So we know what we need to improve on from last season. So yeah, coach has just been going on about the defensive end, making sure we offense, making sure obviously going into this game a lot better. We limit our turnovers, and we look to get our run. You know, at this stage of the season, you know, coach hasn't put in a lot of sets yet because to last season and everybody else in the same position. You know, just lack of time on the court to really, have quality sessions where you can, really implement all of the sets and plays and calls and that nature. So we're just working slowly. We're trying to do the basics, stick to the fundamentals. So yeah, just really defensively being astute, rebounding aggressively, getting out on the run, and trust in each other, which we did last weekend offensively. So hopefully we can do that again.
Definitely, and I was speaking to Coach Stanley and Coach Tris from Leicester. They actually made that comment. They said they thought Coach wouldn't get you guys doing too many sets, actually running up a field. He's just more. Is that what Coach is like? To sort of just take it as it comes?
Yeah, Coach Miller is I really like him because he's an absolute student of the game. He's an absolute basketball purist. You could talk basketball from morning till night. I love his passion for the game. So he knows what he wants to get out of us. He knows what we're capable of. And yeah, to be honest, he's got a plan. It's good to have a coach. He's leading us. He's got a plan. He's got a pathway forward, and he's directing the ship, and that's what he's doing. And we have full trust in him because we know obviously what he brings. From a X's and O's, but also from setting the culture, setting the principles, and holding each other accountable. So yes, it's still early. We think we got a lot. We got a lot that we haven't touched on yet as a team. So all we're hoping is just to continue to get better every day, continue to build and build and build. So when we get to the business end of the season, and even to be fair, at the start of the season, we're clicking to an extent where we can go out and deliver and put out performances enough to get wins. So no, we're very much just scraping the surface right now, especially with this group that we feel there's a lot of potential in this group. If we stay focused and committed to task.
Definitely. Lewis, obviously you guys played last weekend. Did you catch any of the games from the weekend? Was there any players or teams that stood out for you but impressed you or the guys at Moscow?
Do you mean from our on in-house scrimmage or the actual?
Both, yeah. If you want to start with scrimmage, spend a bit about outside of that in terms of the other games too.
I caught a little bit of the Bradford game. It was good to watch. The in-house scrimmage again, it was another great. It was real good to see our people have still got our talent and stuff. It's not no one's lost it. But yeah, this is a new experience for me. Obviously, I've never been in this sort of situation before. Really looking forward to playing and stuff, getting after it with older guys, more experienced people, getting better and stuff. It's going to help me bring on my game a lot, I think.
Definitely. Unfortunately, it's the only game of the bubble this weekend with Derby, I believe, have got some positive cases. And it's hard to really talk too much about Newcastle because I think they're a bit, and they haven't got everyone there and coming a few players back from injury or what's not. But what were you guys' initial thoughts of Newcastle? What stood out for you? I'll start with Lewis, then finish with Albert. That one.
Obviously, Newcastle have got they got a lot of talent. They've had some American guys that have managed to get over. They've always been a team that you have to watch out for. I think it'll be a good game. I'm looking forward to watching it. Obviously, it's obviously not ideal. We want fans and stuff to be there. More sort of motivation and stuff. Obviously, but it's great that we can live stream these games and get them out there to people. It should be a good atmosphere within the game with the players. Given the circumstances, obviously, should be good. Yeah.
Definitely. I remember when I was watching some of the games, there was quite a noisy bench. Albert, who are some of the guys who bring that noise on the bench? Was it a shared responsibility, or is there someone who's extra noisy for you guys?
I'm pretty noisy.
It was everyone.
Everyone, yeah.
It was everyone. I said to you last week, we were just excited to go out there and play.
Yeah.
So the bench was loud. Who else? Obviously Ricky is always loud. That's our captain. So take his lead on the vocal side. So he's always active and he's always talking. When I was on the bench, we were all loud. We really got off because we were generally just excited to be out there. it was such a good feeling to be out there as a team, competing. Um, I do think it was an absolute blessing to be there, because not everyone's in this position to go out there and compete with your teammates. We were just excited. So, yeah, just like I said, just a couple of names I just saying, but everybody, and it's something that even we even mentioned as a team. That energy coming from the bench was so infectious. It was brilliant to be able, and hopefully we can bring that same energy this weekend again.
Definitely. I heard you chirp up, say that you're a noisy guy on the bench. Who are some of the other guys who will be bringing that energy, making that noise without us having fans, unfortunately?
I think yeah, it's sort of a team collective. Like we're pretty noisy. Like we're just loud. We're a loud bunch of guys that like getting after it. Like hyping each other up and stuff. And really enjoy those hustle plays. All that good stuff. Second chance efforts and stuff. Yeah, it's team effort on the bench. Yeah.
I say,
I
yeah,
think it was
definitely.
a bit interesting.
Yeah.
So I think it was a bit
No,
interesting
Darren.
last week. One of the rules was there's no shouting from the bench. I think we just had to look at each other a couple of times. What, this rule isn't really going to last, is it?
Mm.
We're
No.
not just that type of team. So yeah, we'll see how we get along this weekend. I think we
I
just have
think
to get that one out.
some rules out there to be broken. I remember one last year. I think it was the under 14 coaches weren't allowed to stand up from their chair. I think it's
Mm.
a rule they rule first. We can't have Zoom fans, imaging like the NBA. We don't have that sort of budget. I just talked to you guys all
Yeah,
night. I've really enjoyed this. I have to get you back on another time. Maybe not so short notice. I really appreciate you guys coming on. Your game,
Yes.
as mentioned, is streamed by BE on their YouTube page. I believe you guys are 3 p.m. tip off. I'm really looking forward to multi-screening because I'll have Reddit TVC one game and I'll have you guys the other. I'm looking forward to watching both and all the other games. Stay safe. Thanks for coming on. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And
Thank you for
all
having
the
me.
best. You're welcome.
thanks. Take care. Have a good evening.
You
I'll
too.
see you later.
Oh, this is seamless. We got Mike Williams from Hemel to my right, as you guys are watching it, and we'll have Jordan Santiago in the other window. While we wait for Jordan, welcome back, Mike. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. How you doing, Chris?
Yeah, not too bad. It feels like ages ago since we had that chat during the summer, talking a bit about the season. How's things
Yeah,
been? I know you've come back only recently to UK. How's it been back for you?
it's been pretty well. It's been pretty good. It's like I never left, to be honest. Kind of feels like I went on vacation for a little bit back home and just came back to my other home out here. So it's been pretty good being back.
You you look pretty zen. It looks like you've had that relaxed time. You're ready to go, and I'm loving that new Hemel Storm hoodie. I'm sure lots of Hemel fans be yeah looking fly.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
you got obviously we don't preview your game with Oakland's when Jordan's comes on. I think it's only matters away. But let's talk about last weekend. You got the job done. How was that game for you guys?
It was a very It felt good. It just felt good to be back on the court. After being off the court in any kind of competitive style for 7 months. Now not knowing if a season's gonna happen. So it just felt really good to be back on the court with the guys and getting the win over a very good Rockets Reading team, which I feel like they're better than last year. It was great.
Definitely. And obviously both sides had a few changes going into the game. I think Reese was on Reading, Rose Lepra. He had Tyre out from
Hmm.
retirement and a few other changes. What's the dynamic in squad? And from your perspective, are you stronger this year than last year? And in what way do you think you're stronger?
I feel like we are stronger. We maybe not as big as we were last year. Having Oliver Dykesy 7'2", Lee Hodges 7 feet, and Jordan Jackson 6'9". But I feel like we bring a defensive presence. We more locked in on defense. Because last year, even though I feel like we relied a lot last year on our scoring prowess. Scoring the basketball a lot. But our defense, even though we had spurts, there wasn't really a game where we held any team to 70 points. So holding Reading Rockets to, which I feel like they're a better team than last year, holding them to 70 points was like a really good. It was a double win for us because we said our defense will help us win games, and that's what it did.
Yeah, and obviously they're playing in the other fixture earlier on with yourselves against TBC. I thought so too. Obviously with Reece Pinnock, obviously Sam Brandt's back from injury. What were some of the things that impressed you from Reading team?
The fact that you can't sleep on them at all. They could take a lead. Like they was down, we had them down big, and they came right back in the game real fast. So they're a team that they have a never say die attitude. They don't give up. If they take the lead, it'll be very tough to take it back from them because they play very well together, especially guys like Liam. I'm sorry if I pronounce if you're watching this, I'm sorry I'm pronouncing your name wrong. I'm not sure how you say your name, but Reese, Ocean Williams, guys like that, they could surprise a lot of people.
Definitely welcome, Jordan. I hope you're well. Thanks for coming on this evening.
No worries. Good to see you.
I say it's been a fun show so far. Not sure if you managed to catch any bits earlier. I know you were supporting one of the guys who's not been on before with how to prepare for tonight's show. So in the group chat, some of the guys coming on saying, Chris, what questions do we need to prepare for? And you tell us what you said to Kieran Wright.
Yeah, so I've known Kieran for a few years now, so we go back and forth on social media in terms of what he's been posting on his Instagram and lifting and stuff like that. So we like to fool around with each other and see who's been lifting more weights this off season. So yeah,
he kept his cards close to his chest. I did try and grill him to see who lifts the most, but he said he wasn't sure. Can you give any light on that matter? Who's doing the best in the gym between you guys?
I mean, he's in the gym a little bit more than I am in terms of what he's been posting, but I'm sure we both can lift similar weight. We're similar in size. We look fairly similar, so.
Definitely. And Mike, slightly similar topic. Obviously, you said about that defensive presence, having the big, tall guys in. In terms of like your scrimmages, do you notice a bit tougher having those bigger defensive presence? And who's sort of the toughest for you personally to play against within that Hemel roster, if you had to pick a person?
All my teammates are tough. Greg, of course. Rebounding.
Got your +5.
His mid range is impeccable. Bodie's really fast. Levi. Seasoned veteran. Teo, but to be honest, in practice, Jack get on my nerves, yo. Jack does not miss.
Well,
I hate guarding in practice.
Yeah, Jack is that Jack Burnell, guy's name is probably one of the leads, dominant 3-point shooting. What is that like? You say it annoys you? Is he always shooting over you?
It annoys me. It annoys me because, especially when we're not on the same team, and I always tell every time he's get the ball, I always tell my team, whoever's guarding him, don't leave him because if he has a slither of room, he's gonna shoot, and 9 times out of 10, he gets the ball, have a slither room, he's gonna shoot it, and it goes in. So it gets annoying. I had to run a lot in practice because of him.
Sorry to you mid thing. I've been playing a lot of NBA 2K, and every time I have an interview, I always say the answer, but gets the best chemistry rate. So I was just joking that all my team was like a +10 chemistry on the 2K or something like that. Jordan is shooting. We can't not mention your buzzer beater, one of the highlights from last weekend. Talk us through that play. What was the goal in terms of the look, and what would go through your head when you shot that buzzer beater?
I mean, I wasn't expecting the pass, to be completely honest. I thought Jarrell was going to go up with it. But I think in the last couple of timeouts in that game, we were talking about busting out in transition and finding the right guy. We're all about congratulating the bust out and play shot, but finding the great shot out of that is something that we're always looking for. So I mean, hat off to Jarrell finding me in transition wide open. So I mean, it was a great feeling, that ball going in. I just had sat for 5 minutes, so I was surprised it even went in, to be completely honest.
Definitely.
That was my first shot, literally in 10 seconds of getting on the court. So
I think you definitely announced yourself in that game, and I was really impressed by you guys. I thought you guys played well as a team. As players I'd not seen play before, play well, like Ethan Walsh. It was great to see Toby, developed for year 2. Obviously, it's hard to pick an individual performance. So what were some of the things that you found reassuring watching that game? Because it was a close game, but there was some good individual performances in there.
I think more on the defensive end, like we showed a lot of grit. I think most of our emphasis is going to be on the defensive end. I mean, I'm not really worried about our offense. We have guys that could shoot the ball. We have guys that are talented off the dribble and stuff like that. So I think if we can get some stops in compound stops throughout the game, I think we're going to be pretty solid. We do lack size, so we need all 5 guys, locked in on the defensive end to be competitive this season.
Definitely. And you both mentioned the importance of defense, so we're looking forward to see how that matches up. You mentioned obviously the height difference. Obviously, right. You probably talked about how ways to combat that, but typically speaking, if you've got a team that's taller than you, what ways can you, for people who are sort of fans watching, what are the ways that you just sort of counter that if you've not got the height? Would you double team players or try and push them away from ball? What sort of ways to counter it when you lack the height of the other team?
That's me.
Yeah. I meant to Mike.
I think. All right, cool. In terms of being in the ball handler and not allowing easy passes into the post, 3-quartering the big, just doing anything to slow the ball handler, making it difficult. And then on the offensive end, just tagging up on offensive rebounds and trying to, keep the ball in our hands as much as possible and not allowing them to go in transition is definitely big for us.
I see you nodding there, Mike, and I'm not sure you don't have I think your roster is fair to say is probably one of the tallest ones, but what are some of the things that you would do if you're facing guys taller than you to sort of keep possession, but also maybe stop them from getting that offensive look?
To be honest, we just need to come together as a team. Like I said, we're not as big as we were last year. But we all have that dog inside of us where where we know that when we need a possession and knowing that we aren't as tall or as big as some of the other teams in the league, everybody has to get in there and rebound. I'm not, I'm no stranger to that. I'll go in there with the big guys and get a rebound if I need to. But
right.
Having that attitude, just saying that, no matter what, we gonna do what we need to do, whether it's 3-quarter front like Jordan said, or get the rebound and all 5 guys box out and and whoever gets the rebound just go. We're all the same size, so that's one of the advantages of being small. Whoever gets the rebound could just push it and go.
Yeah, apologies. I had a moment of lapse of forgetfulness because I forgot Lee Hodge at Essex Rebels this year. I think the reason I forgot was that he didn't play this weekend, so I kind of default remembered he was with you guys last year.
Yeah.
Jordan, Mike sort of said what to expect from you guys, but from watching them for game 1, what sort of things you expected to see from them this game?
Obviously the ball being in Mike's hand a lot, him getting his shots. I think our emphasis is trying to stop him and make other people score, and then just playing our brand of basketball. I think every game is going to be competitive, and I think we just need to stick together in terms of Oakland's basketball and just play our game.
Definitely. And what were your thoughts on Reading? What was not Reading, sorry, TBC who you guys played? Did they come out how you expected them to? Were there threats maybe you didn't see, or what things stood out for them? Because obviously they're playing Reading in the earlier fixture.
They played similarly like last year. I just remember some of the guys I had Blaine and Taylor Johnson, so I knew kind of what they were going to come out on the offensive end. I was excited to see how we came together. That starting 5, I think, was the first time we played together since, preseason scrimmages, and we don't really get that starting 5 on the court in practice. So just coming together that first 5 minutes and just seeing our true potential was really nice. I think we started off really high, and then we thought that was us, but realistically, can't get too high and can't get too low. We kind of have to stay in that middle. And I think we let that high get to us in that game. I guess they didn't really shoot 3 well, to be honest. They definitely put the ball in the paint a lot, and they got a lot of their offensive rebounds, and that's where most of their scoring came from. So I was a little surprised. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a good
Taylor
game.
Johnson sort of
It was
ran
nice
into
getting on the
paint
court.
quite a lot. Yeah, no, it was interesting
Right.
to watch. And Taylor Johnson sort of got behind you quite a few times in the paint. You said
Yeah.
obviously on the court, those five did get the chance of an in scrimmage. Off the court, personality wise, who are some of like how you guys getting on in the because of this new club yourself? What are some of the
Right.
dynamics like? And what are some of the personalities? Maybe people don't know them that well.
So we have a bunch of academy guys, so it's hard to socialize with them and be professional at the same time, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I mean, being here for about a month or so, I've been able to create relationships with all of them on and off the court. We all get trims together usually once a week, so we're definitely socializing and creating good bonds with each other. So
And same for you, Mark, because obviously you mentioned it previously, was different, a lot of guys in. How's that team gelling off court? If you have time to socialise or get to know the guys outside of the basketball, what are some of the guys like to play with?
Well, to be honest, it feels like Teo hasn't really missed a beat after being off a year. You know, and he's very like very passionate, very knowledgeable. You know, he knows what he's talking about. On the court, Levi, he hasn't been with Hemel since 2018-2019 season. So, that year in Italy, his game has him went up leaps and bounds. He's more composed, more poised. But off the court, it just feel like everybody could talk to anybody. It feels like even though we just got together like a few weeks ago, it feels like it feels like it still feels like like we're all brothers, like a whole family oriented. So it feels pretty good. We gel pretty well.
And obviously, the biggest challenge probably for both teams is playing without fans. How did you guys get around that? Was the bench quite vocal? So, who was some of the noisy guys? I'll start with you, Jordan. How did that feel playing without fans, and what did your bench do to help you encourage you guys?
to be honest, it's been so long since I had a game. I really didn't focus on anything off the court. I kind of was like dialed in and just appreciating the moment.
Yeah.
And I think kind of spreading out the chairs kind of makes it seem like there's more people in the gym on the bench. But it is tough. It's tough not having a locker room. Like you kind of build that on court chemistry in the locker room, and you create bonds with guys in that locker room. And not having that setting is pretty tough right now. So you got to be creative in terms of fans, bench. I mean, you can't really scream when you're on the bench. You kind of have to be quiet. And the coach having the mask is really tough. So, I mean, we're getting there. Definitely getting there.
Yeah, how's that like? 'Cause I work in healthcare, and I know myself when I got the mask on, either hearing someone with a mask, you soon realise how much we take sort of visual prompts or
Right.
mouth read or yeah, little nuances. How's that been sort
I
of
mean,
adjusted to those, Mike? Oh, sorry. You carry on, Jordan. We'll get to Mike after.
oh no, go ahead,
Go ahead,
go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
Now, go ahead, Jay.
I mean, it's
have a
already
thought.
it's difficult with the accent already to begin with, and now adding the mask, it definitely makes it more challenging. So I think the five on the court really got to come together in as many huddles as you can, or communicating as much as you can, knowing that you're down a coach basically. So
Took the words right out of
And
my
Mike,
mouth, to be honest. Sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes Drew gets a little frustrated with the mask. Trying to talk to us, but he realizes it's a precautionary reasons he has to keep it on. But at the end of the day, like it's just basketball. We've been playing this game all our lives, and we are coming together quite well. So at the end of the day, we already know what to expect from one another, and where that chemistry is starting to build. Where like we kind of already know what we're thinking, what each other's thinking. So that's one of the benefits, I guess. And even though like Jordan said, with the whole not having fans thing, to be honest, I ain't really care about none of that. I just want to play basketball. And I'm grateful for the fact that I'm able to play basketball, because a lot of people, and especially in my country, are sitting at home, not doing nothing.
right.
So
and I think
it is what it is, to be honest.
And I think athletes, they're like a locked-in breed. You sort of you're trained to be so focused. It is easy to forget what's going on around you because you're so focused on the game, your game plan, and all that. Of course, we got a bit of time, so I know I think one of the next test still not logged on just yet. But quickly, I imagine both of you guys caught some games from around the Lynch Trophy this weekend. Start with you, Mike. Who are some of the standout performances that you enjoyed watching this weekend? Last weekend, sorry.
Well, of course, I gotta give it to Worthing. Cam. He did his thing the other day. And also, I forget. I don't know the guy's name. I gotta learn it. But the other guy who had 26, Worthing. He also did
Max
performances
Richardson,
before.
yeah.
Yeah, Max. Yeah,
He
they did their thing. And it's been, of course, Travis Jaws. He gonna get his regardless. He's a 20 and 10 guy. Then night in and night out. So those guys like that. And also while I was watching I was watching Oakland too. I caught that game. I wanted to see how how they improved from last year. From being originally Essex Leopards. And I watched that game too. And to be honest, for that team to be quite young, they play very well. They play very well.
Definitely.
I will say that.
I definitely agree with that one.
It's love.
Yeah, I really do. So because last year, I feel like last year was more about individual talent. And even though this team still has individual talent, they are more. I feel like they're more of a team. So they're gonna be dangerous.
And I say to you, Jordan, was there any standout performance that really impressed you from last weekend?
Watching that Barking game, solid Barking. I was really impressed with how Barking had played and just the confidence that some of the young guys had played with. Man, like they were knocking down some tough shots and like staying in that game while knocking down tough shots. And then obviously just seeing Cam do his thing on the court, it's always nice to see his highlights. And then just seeing some of the guys that I played with last year, Reese being at Reading, just seeing him in a new setting is always nice to see. But yeah, it was a good weekend at basketball, man. It's so nice.
Definitely. It does seem a lot of the Loughborough guys are out and about this season. Obviously, you touched Max Richardson played, Reese Pinnock, and many, many more. I think Raymond Lascelles, if you look from Leicester, then Andre Rissola from Charnwood. Do you guys still keep in contact, and were you guys sort of aware of the fact that there were so many ex-Loughborough guys making their debuts at other clubs?
Yeah, we still. I mean, we're all connected on social media. It's so hard to kind of fall out with guys throughout the league. I wasn't really aware of how many guys had come through Loughborough. I always like seeing them post their alumni because I was only there for about a year. So, but yeah, it's always nice to see people continuing to play and chasing their dreams, man, till the wheels fall off.
Definitely, I totally agree. And obviously, all those guys are involved in games this weekend. I think we mentioned everyone who's sort of still playing this weekend as ultimate moments. Thank you both for coming on. I know your game is at Saturday afternoon, 17:45. I imagine it's going to be quite easy for all eyes to be on you because there's no clashes in terms of that time because the other games are earlier. Thank you both for coming on, spending your free evening talking to me before a game tomorrow. I'm sure you probably want to get an early night prep. All the best tomorrow. I'll be watching. Stay safe and chat soon to both of you.
All right, later. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Welcome for on Easy. I must admit, I think the guys, how are you, UK?
I'm good, thanks. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. We were just talking about some memorable performances. I think, it goes without saying, but you had a really good game. You're obviously taking on leadership roles. Let's talk a bit about that Solent game while we wait for Ish. So I'm sure he'll love to talk about the Worthing one. What went well for you guys in that Solent marketing? Because it was a really good game from a neutral perspective.
I feel like this year we've all done a good job of understanding our roles and coming together as a team. Like we're really playing as a unit, trying to play the least selfish basketball we can. And in that game, I feel like it was just a great showcase. We started clicking. It was obviously our first proper game together, so there was patches that need work on. But to begin with, I feel like it was a great test for us.
Welcome, as you just answered it, Ishmael's in with his Batman PJs. Welcome, Ishmael. How are you?
How you guys doing? You okay? I'm okay.
Yeah,
It's a bit chilly in
Feral
here, so
was
I had to
just.
put on my Batman.
I've got my Star Wars lounge pants on. I say it's a bit chilly. The other side of the south coast in Solent. Oh, I think we've lost this for a second. So yeah, Feral was just talking about
I'm back.
his game. You're back, yes. Thank you. I say commitment. I think you've done quite a few shows with me in the last week or so. Enjoyed having you on. Obviously, a win in the books. What was that game like? So it was a good game to comment on, and what are some things that you enjoyed from that Worthing Essex Rebels game?
Mostly just being on the floor. You know, I was really happy to be on the floor again. I've worked by myself on gravel and all types of courts since March. So being on an indoor court with my teammates was awesome.
Is that the same for you, Faron? Was it you're all excited back? What were the emotions also post game? Because I don't think you to be too disappointed with that performance, but maybe you could have actually taken them a bit further. What was some of the post game thought in the locker room after that one?
Well, it felt weird to go straight back into game environment, you know, warm up, seeing the shot clock counting down, you know, even just layup lines. Like I haven't done that in so long with the team. So it was it was good, but although we've had like this big break, I didn't feel like there's been this gap. Like we were straight back with it.
Definitely. I think one thing that was an easy observation to make from all games is a little bit of rustiness to show off, which is understandable with the delay in games. Ish, first for yourselves, do you think we'll see Worthing go to another level next game? You know, you probably got a few players coming back. Guys probably feel better. What are some of the thoughts that you have against this game, for this game against Barking?
I mean, we take every game as it comes. I watched Barking play. They crash the offensive glass. They run the floor. They're pressuring the ball. So maybe that would force us to play at a higher level than we have been playing. But I think everyone's trying to give their 100% every night. So I don't think it's a question of us trying to bring 100% more effort or whatever. But I think just building towards being a championship team is really important to us.
Definitely. And for you, what you expect from Worthing and what can we see from Barking in terms of game week 2, but maybe didn't see in game week 1?
I feel like this week we're coming with a lot more in. See, I'm trying to say stuff without giving too much away, obviously, but I feel like we're going to do a lot better job on reading certain guys, playing again. Like obviously, defensive end is our primary focus. You know, that's our fundamental. So a lot this week, you know, we've adjusted some things and we're really trying to lock down on some certain aspects of our defense. We're expecting to just play our hearts out. You know, 40 minutes, leave it all on the floor.
Definitely. Obviously, in the other bubble, we've got Solent versus Essex. Ish obviously played Essex last game. What are some of the things from Essex that you really liked seeing? I think you'll see they'll come up with Solent next game.
I mean, they shoot the ball really well. They're probably going to have Lee Greenan and Ethan Price back. So we'll see a new Essex. We won't see the Essex we saw last week. We'll see a new one. And with the combination of Ben Winter shooting the ball so well, Sam Newman will have more space to get done what he needs to get done, even though he doesn't really need that much space. And then the guys off the bench will bring the energy and try to run the coach's stuff. They're a very, very good team, and I really, really like how the coach has got them playing these, rotating these guys. You know, he's really treating this as a preseason, getting guys minutes that you think maybe in down the stretch the minutes will be shortened, but I really like how they're playing right now.
Yeah, I really like them playing too. I think they might surprise one or two people how well they played. Maybe there's a lot of unknowns about their squad, with many of them stepping up to D1 for the first time. For one, obviously you guys play Solent. I know Solent are a well-treaded team, but what were some of the thoughts that you had about the Solent's performance after that game? What are some of the new guys' impact that impressed you, or made you you realise that they were doing what they were doing? So that was a
So
really
I
good
mean,
count.
no, I got it. So like we were already prepared, obviously with Solon's great performance last year and the new additions to their team. We expected them to be, on top game, and from the jump, we did see them everything we expected to see from them. Sorry. So they played high quality basketball, and shout out to like Andre, one of their new additions. He was really tough, and it was great competition to play against them.
And obviously, both you guys had an added week in training. Ish, I'll start with you. How's training been? What are some things you've managed to get on the floor in this week in training?
We're not really trying to rewrite the wheel. We're trying to get everyone in game shape. We're trying to get the chemistry correct. We've also got young guys on the team who haven't featured yet, but we're trying to get them acclimated to being professionals, and that's the most important thing at the moment.
Yeah, maybe you're saying like Nicholas Malone, you highly rate as someone who did get on the court last time, who might see minutes in this one, and I know you did get the your import player registered in time, so we could see him this weekend. So a lot to see, but maybe didn't see last weekend. I'm really excited to look to watching this one. Same for you, From what's gone well in training? What's training looked like this week for you guys?
Uh, this week, I mean, James has done a good focus on preparing us for. I mean, we don't. It's almost like we don't prepare specifically to train against one level. He expects the highest from us every weekend. So every day of training, after our game on Sunday, we wipe that. We get ready for the next thing. Straight intense. So this week of training has been really intense. Really intense. First, yesterday we were like he was on us serious. We actually cut practice short because the intensity wasn't there. So today we're able to go even more intense and meet the demand. So it's been intense, but it's good.
Definitely, I'm always really interested to hear a bit more about the coaches. Obviously, Ishmael, you came on Wednesday, gave a little bit about your new coach. What I know you say he doesn't want to reinvent the wheel, and a very nice guy and all things. Was there anything you just saw differently this week from the coach, or how is he getting on? Because obviously his second week with the guys in training.
I mean, he's been with us for quite a while, but he got to see us play, and he put us in situations, especially in transition, because we're playing Barking. They're going to run. He put us in situations to try and defend, transition, and they're going to run. I was really impressed with how we rebounded in practice, because Barking they throw three guys at the offensive glass. They're really trying to get that ball trying to get extra possessions every time they can. So I think Julian did a good job of working towards defense, and you want your coach to be a defensive minded coach, because when you think about the talent we have offensively, there's not much coaching that goes into that. You want him to give us a system where we can build chemistry defensively. So I was really impressed with the practices this week.
Also, before I move on to Ferran, I remember actually at one point, I think I saw Sayer take Cam to one side to sort of give him a few wise words of wisdom, and he doesn't know what he said, and I probably can't say too much. But what's Sayer's influence on Cameron, and what's the dynamic, like the master and the student almost? What were some of those things that Sayer keeps telling Cam
I mean,
without being
what's Zaire's influence on all basketball here? Zaire
Yeah,
played at Mizzou. It's one of the biggest schools in America. He's also one of the most prolific scorers in British basketball history. He's also one of the best defenders in British basketball history. So when we say, what's he saying to Cam? He's probably saying to everybody. I mean, probably said it to Varane. They know each other well. So this is what Zaire does. He tries to make his teammates better.
definitely. I was really impressed with his performance. You could tell he was trying to help the team, different assists and steals. He definitely got the impression, but if he wants to and needed to, he'd still have that strong threat, and it's great to have someone of his caliber in the league. Sharon, back to your coach. Obviously, you worked for him a few years now. What's he like to be coached under? What's his philosophy to speak without giving away too much of the secret sauce?
Um, his philosophy is really just he really focuses on playing correct basketball. So obviously this is my second year here now. First year he's been really giving me good guidance, as in because I've primarily been a driver. It's been helping me work on actually getting the ball out of my hands more when I'm driving. Obviously when I'm drawing people across to kick it out, and like this season having to play a lot bigger role is really helped me. He's really encouraging, but his emphasis is, well, for us in general, is mainly defense. If the defensive end isn't there, then especially in practice, it's like, what's the point? So he makes sure we're on top of that. Um, and yeah, I don't want to give too much away.
Obviously, last season there was the Adidas Next Generation tournament. Obviously, it's a sub-contest that Cam played with you guys in that tournament, and I've not really had much chance to speak to you actually for that tournament. I think you guys played really well. What were some of the
Thank you.
highlights for you in that Adidas Next Generation tournament?
Just being able to actually compete to see what's really going on in Europe. We're playing the best teams from other countries, and we have this understanding of our level in association with where we are. So in England, we understood we were one of the most predominant EABL teams. But to actually go onto this bigger platform and see, well, this is what's going on in Europe as a whole, it was great. And I'm quite happy with how we performed. We I feel like we performed really well, and obviously we had Cam there. That was quite cool. We had that addition. I feel like we made a good impact from that tournament.
For sure, and I say it was great to watch you guys, and you did really well. Ish, in terms of raising the level of the game, how much impact do you think opportunities like what Bardin had really raised the game? And what ways would you think we need for us to raise the level of British basketball, get us a little bit higher up that hierarchy, so to speak?
For me, I think British basketball is underrated in the first place. So everything that needs to raise the game is infrastructure. It's got nothing. Veron's a high level player. Cameron's a high level player. How many more high level players do we need to have? Homegrown, high level talented players do we need to have until people start taking British basketball seriously? That's the question I need to ask people, because Byron Mullins is playing here now. Justin Robertson's been one of the most disrespected players I've ever seen until he came back to England and played. You've got Teddy Okafor. You have all these amazing Gabriel Olasini, just these amazing basketball players. I don't know how much more British basketball players can do. It's infrastructure now. You see, like how people look at London now. As soon as London gets some money, Hoop Genius come around, and all these people that don't have no interest in British basketball, they start, hey, London Lions, we need to speak to these guys. That's up to them. But we've always had this caliber of players here, and regardless of who London Lions brought in when they got their big money move, Justin Robinson was starting at the point guard, and he's a great player. So just like I say, Veron was in at the Next Generation. He wasn't there to make up the numbers. Barking didn't make up the numbers. They beat some high class teams, and that's the point. Basketball in this country is severely underrated, mostly because of the people here. We got a lot of guys who are, the BBL is this and the NBL 1 is this, and they don't like the fact that NBL 1 is pro, and they don't like the fact that BBL is pro. We got a lot of these guys spieling this stuff. In Spain, we don't have that problem. Luka Doncic never had to hear nothing about, you playing in the EBA. No one ever said that to Luka Doncic. I watched him play in the EBA against Tom Ward, actually. So the fact that we disrespect ourselves in this country so much is the reason why this question keeps coming about. I believe wholeheartedly in the talent in this country.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head with how we actually, if we don't respect basketball, how to expect Europe to respect us? For one, I saw you nodding, and I'm sure you'll say the same thing. Ish mentioned some talented players we have. Obviously, you're involved with GB and Barkin. Who do you think, without naming too many names, who are some players you think are most underrated but should have a lot more exposure than they do?
Underrated, but should have more exposure.
That's quite a lot, I
That's a
imagine.
that's a good question, because like especially with the older guys in GB, seeing them through being part of younger national team programs and seeing them play, it's almost you don't really think about the stuff like that. Like I've always seen these older guys as motivation. You want to be that level, but I haven't really thought wider about it. You know what I mean? As if because a lot of guys can compete in other like leagues in other countries, but you just don't. It's a question. It's always a question because I've never really thought about it like that.
I kind of think with it, us limited to 20 minutes, I actually want to get you guys both on again, maybe had a little think, because I think having you guys on, it gives you guys exposure, but if we actually have a session maybe in a couple of weeks' time when everything's a bit, and we come up with a list of players that come up, just I think Israel, I love that point, but Justin Robinson's starting point guard, and all the reaction was actually he was probably one of the best players in that game, even though they got lost, and you had Byron Mullins and DeAndre Liggins, no disrespect to them intended at all, but one of the standout performers were the guys who I beat out, like Dirk Williams. And there's so many, I can't pick one in particular,
I
but a
mean,
lot of guys.
Joey Kinwin.
Yeah,
You think about how Joey Kinwin played in that game. People didn't even
yeah,
expect him to get on the plane. That's just the
came on,
issue we
got
have in this
points.
country where we disrespect our own guys, and that's the point.
Definitely. Just before you guys go, obviously you mentioned London with the money's got some of these media guys going. Do you feel, Isha, you probably more the button to say for honest, you haven't really thought about it in a big detail. Do you think we're respecting the game more or about the same? What's your thoughts on that in terms of progression?
In terms of progression, the game, we're gonna have to deal with people talking about what happened to them years ago and blame it on what's going on now. I have this conversation all the time. Someone says something happened to me 12 years ago in this team that doesn't even exist anymore, and people still bring up Mersey Tigers to me to this day. I gotta listen to people talk about Mersey Tigers. People sit there and go, "But you have all these player coaches." Oh yeah, but Fab Flanoy, who was a player coach in the British Basketball League for years, ended up going to coach the Toronto Raptors. So that point doesn't make no sense because he's one of the best coaches there is in the world now because he's on a world championship team, well, former world championship team. And it's just progression-wise, I see us only moving forward. I mean, Cameron is going to the ACC. I don't know whether Ron's ending up. I'm waiting for Ron to give me his, his press conference. I'm going to sit there. I'm going to wait for it. I'm going to have Sam British basketball advocate. I'm going to wait for that voice to come on and receive a run. He'll have a haircut by then, and then we're going to be blessed. This is going to be great, I'm looking forward to it.
Also, I've really enjoyed everyone coming on tonight, especially you guys. People watching want to see how these guys get on. It's as all but one. The games are streamed online on BE. You guys are first up on Sunday. I'm calling it Super Sunday. I just think re-promote it, make it sound good, make more people watch it. You guys on at 12. Good luck. I'll be there as a media pass, but not be commentating, I'm sure. More qualified people be on, but thank you both for coming on. Have a lovely evening and all the best for this weekend.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care.
Welcome. Stay safe, guys. Thanks. Well, what a show. And last but not least, Orland Jackman, who made a surprise entrance earlier on this evening, and Essex Rebels captain, Tom Child. Welcome to you both. I'll start with Tom. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me on.
That's great. I just want to raise the game, and I thought something like this is great because we have all the guys have a 20-minute slots. Maybe so that fans say, I want to watch this, guys, but come on a bit early, watch something else and learn something. So I think it's a really good idea, and hoping everyone out there enjoys it. Welcome, Orland. Welcome to Solent. How are you doing?
Doing well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. We had a busy 7 days. I was a bit of a fanboy to the NBL about a week before the first round games. They said, can I be involved in the Lynch Trophy? I'm missing basketball. I want to help you guys. And they said, oh, sure, do a preview show. I don't think either of us had the expectation that it'd be as popular. So Monday evening, I was looking at my roster to see if I could do it. So obviously, we all worked full time. We all got our jobs as well as basketball. And we were able to fit it in. And I'm glad because I've really enjoyed it. And it's great to have basketball back. Oh, audio. I'll start with you, Orland. You guys got the win done. How was that game for you guys? What was the reaction in the camp post-game?
We were glad that we won. Yeah, especially first game back after how long was it? 7 months of no basketball.
Yeah.
And I think the last game in the entire world featured Solent.
True, yeah.
I could be wrong, probably am wrong, but I feel as though the trophy final was the last game in the world for a long time.
Yeah, I think pretty much what last, if not a random game in another country, but I do believe it was one of the last. Tom, I was really impressed by you guys against Worthing. I thought it was a really good match. Both games were really good to watch. Obviously, you guys didn't get the win, but there were some positives for sure. What was the locker room like post game? What were some of the conversations that had post game?
Like you said, obviously we didn't get the win, but like everyone, I mean, we haven't played since March, and that was kind of the week leading up to that game was our first real week of having practice every day. So to be honest with you, we weren't too disheartened. Everyone played. I think the lowest anyone played was like 9 minutes or something. So we rotated well, and to be honest with you, I feel like we've still got a lot of stuff that we put in this week. So I mean, it'd be good to see how we do against Solent. We know what Solent are about. We know undefeated last year and all that, but at the end of the day, we've got to step on the same court as us, isn't it? So it's what it is.
I thought it was a perfectly timed turn of head by Orland to me, sort of like, yep, we know what we're about. Obviously, I had Worthing guys and Barking guys on, so I'll get you guys to say a bit more about them because obviously you guys have been deservedly so guarded about giving away too much of what to expect. I know a few of you guys got more guys coming back possibly with Essex, and so obviously that was the first game you guys played them as a group. I'll start with Tom. With playing with Worthing, what were some of the things that you guys observed that they did well, or threats that maybe you guys may not been expecting?
I mean, everyone knows about Cameron, so like it's obviously he's an amazing talent. It's hard to slow him down. I just think we kind of let them get a bit too much in transition, which like for us we're a young team. I don't think we have anybody. Well, we might have one or two players above 25, and that's it. So we can't really let that happen, considering we're all young and whatnot. So I think transition-wise, we kind of let a few things slip. And then at the start of the third, they got on a bit of a run, and they did well to kind of close out, really. But yeah, I mean, I think we lost by 11 or 12 in the end. But I think, to be honest with you, it could have been, it shouldn't have been that much. We just kind of let a few sloppy turnovers, like myself included, up through one straight out of bounds and a couple of things like that. And a good team like Worthing with players like Cam and Zaire and stuff like that, they're going to take advantage of that. So we just got to be a bit more clinical, take care of the ball, I think.
Definitely. I think that's part of it is sort of those first day back, you will make those sort of sloppy passes. It's bound to be. Orland, obviously, Barty put up a really good fight. What were some of the things that maybe you guys either weren't expecting as much, or some things that the guys were like, wow, they did really well, this and that? What were some of the breakdowns from that Barking game that was taught by Coach Diamond and Co?
I believe Barking did really well. They play with some sort of fearlessness. They, and I guess that's to do with their age. They wasn't afraid of anything. They packed the paint. They played tough. They rebounded well, and they were fearless. I really liked a lot of the players on their team. I think our experience helped us weather their storms whenever they brought it close, and I think they tied it up for a little bit in the third, and then like I said, our experience helped us build up a lead and blow it out to about 20 points.
And I say you're one of the new faces this season. I'm always really intrigued how those conversations help. When was the first time either you knew Solomon been interested, or knew but it was a serious proposition for you as terms of playing there this season?
Matt Guyman, me and Matt Guyman, we go way back. We played against each other. We went to the same university in America, Oklahoma City University. He got in contact through a mutual friend of ours and expressed interest. Then we just started negotiating, and look at us now.
Definitely. And I remember at the National Cup final at the Essex Rebels. You were there as a guest, and I'm always interested, like when players go to watch a game as a neutral. Were you able to turn off, be a fan? Or what was some of your initial thoughts of the NBL and the teams on the show that day?
Me personally, whenever I watch basketball, I can't watch it as a fan. I tend to study the game, look at the plays, see what's going on, see how the team fits together, see how players are responding to certain situations. And Solon looked really good. I was saying it from the beginning in the commentary. Solon looked really good. Reading had a huge task ahead of them, especially being a couple players down due to playing a cup match for another team. And players, I don't think players were registered in time. I'm not sure. I can't remember exactly what it was, but yeah, Solon looked really good. They looked really athletic, really strong. They didn't seem like there wasn't a weakness. I couldn't find a weakness that Reading could have exploited, really.
Yeah, I think it was Leo France that wasn't registered in time, or I think he wasn't allowed to go to the cup because I think of eligibility rules or something. So they were not undecided, but not a full squad to go from. With both your games being on Sunday, Tom, did you guys get a chance to watch any games on Saturday? And what were some of your reaction for maybe some of the team performances or individual performance? What stood out for you guys watching the games on Saturday?
I guess I'll go
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On Saturday, I didn't catch any of the games because we had training. And then before I was training, I was being a dad. So being a dad takes up a lot of time. So I didn't really have time to catch up on any of the games.
Definitely, I understand that. I think everyone in British basketball, especially at NBL level, and even all the levels, they work really hard because life is also going on. It's not just going out on the weekend to play basketball. Like you say, I've been a dad or a job, so the work rate of people involved is admirable, to say the least. Tom, did you get a chance to watch any of the games? I know everyone in British basketball is really busy. It's not always possible.
No, I didn't watch them live, but I watched them back in the evening. We played, obviously Thames Valley Cavaliers. Like they've got a really kind of well balanced, high level squad from all around. Obviously you've got Blaine, Bernard, all those kind of guys. So kind of already watching them, you know they're going to be strong. And then similarly like Hemel, obviously you have Mike, Greg, guys that played a really high level, and again you know what they're going to bring. Obviously you've got the veterans like Bodie. It was, to be honest with you, it was just nice to watch some British basketball again. Obviously, I know we've had the NBA going on, but kind of the same watching kind of NBL or BBL or whatever it is. I don't know, it's something about it which I love anyway. It's been good to have it back, and I think this tournament's giving teams a good opportunity to get back into gear for the regular season coming up. So.
Definitely. Orlando, is that same for you? Enjoy being back and playing basketball. What are some of the feelings for you with this Lynch trophy?
I'm just glad that we've got to a place or a time in this country where we're allowed to play sports. I remember when lockdown first come and you couldn't leave your house. People were trying to do workouts in the park. People were working out in their back garden. I'm just looking back and seeing how far we've come to be able to put an actual match together with all of the safety precautions and making sure that both teams are safe. I'm just thankful that we've come so far.
Yes, definitely. It's great to see, and I think this, as well as that, this trophy is a great opportunity to sort of see how we operate under conditions, how what happens if a game is postponed. We've had all these challenges, not having fans in, but the streaming's gone well. Hopefully, be to have a similar situation where you to watch majority of games week in, week out. Obviously, this week you've both guys been in training. What's it like coaching under Matt Diamond, and what's training been like this week?
Training's been really good. We've been going over the fine details of what we need to do to better our offense and better our defense. And at this level, this is what we need to do because we want to be fighting for a championship. So the best way to fight for a championship is to stop the other team from scoring and getting as many points as we can, and that's what we've been doing.
Definitely, you've had a decorated career. Is a little bit of an understatement. And in your time during your career, you've obviously been under lots of different coaches. Is there a team or a coach, but when you hang up your boots and your other responsibilities take the first, the main step? What are sort of the teams you played with or the coaches you played on, but you don't remember the most, or were the best teams or did really well? What are some of the highlights been?
The coaches that I played for that I like the most, I would say every coach has affected me in a different way. Every coach is special to me. I can't say, that coach was trash, because that doesn't make sense. Like, you wouldn't get to where you were being a rubbish coach. So I can't just pick out one coach and say that's my favorite coach, because I've learned so much from each and every different coach. So
I can
um,
understand.
yeah,
So I
that's
can
that's what I
understand
have to
that,
say
like,
about that.
yeah, and a team in particular, maybe like a team that you felt really performed to its full potential. What some of the highlights been?
A special run was the Cheshire Phoenix. Whenever we won the cup, that was a special run. Um, I beat all my previous teams to get to the final and beat a previous team in the final. We were the underdogs in every single game. So yeah, we beat Newcastle on the buzzer. We lost to the Lions at home and beat them by just enough in London. Getting to London that day, it was it was one of the worst snow days in the last 50 years or something like that. Um, and then even in the final, after we taken out the two best teams in the league, they still didn't think we were going to win it.
Wow,
So
that's
that
amazing.
was one of the most memorable runs, and that was a back-to-back cup with two different teams. That was special.
Definitely a question to you both. I'll let Tom answer it first. I say he's been sitting patiently there. Ishmael and Fron, Ishmael mainly brought up a really good topic, but British basketball's in good shape. It's just under-respected. And in terms of visibility of maybe local NBL, BBL, what are your thoughts on that, Tom? In terms of British basketball, do you feel more needs to be done promoting the game, or do you think there's other issues more pertinent to raising the game? So that's a
No,
tough
I mean, I
question there.
definitely think, yeah, it's a tough question, but I mean, I definitely think there's always more that can be done. You know what I mean? But like I don't know. For me personally, I do think that it has got better, particularly in the last year. Things like Dave Owen, like BBL Fix, like I know they're little things. Even what we're doing right now, like the more and more things we can do like this, the more we can promote our game and kind of like what you alluded to of Ishmael, but putting some more respect on the game. Like obviously, we've got someone like Orlan who's played like pro, now playing in the NBL. Like it just shows you that it's a serious league. Like even guys like Cameron going to Wake Forest. Like that's it just shows you the sort of caliber of players that we do have in this league.
Yeah, there's definitely lots to celebrate. I think when we talk about NBL, D1, would you like to raid in it all? And you probably have a few on that. And being in the game, do you feel it's undervalued? And do you think we're getting there? Just like you say, we've got people who work hard, BBL Fix, Dave Owen, and many others. So I can't just pick one. I think there's so many guys promoting the game. Do you feel the game has been underappreciated in the last few years?
For the game to be underappreciated, we need to find out who it is underappreciated by. So for me to answer that question, that's what I need to like. If it's underappreciated by the British public, yeah, because it's a high level of competition that happens really fast. It's the fastest team sport. Yeah, I would say it's underappreciated by the British public. Um, yeah. Who else would it be underappreciated by?
Yeah, I just meant in terms of, I think it's quite can be at times a fractured community in a sense, but we all have such wide range of interests. You've got the fans who maybe like NBA, maybe the fans got like BBL, fans who sort of promote NBL. Everyone seems to like a niche, I find, and I'm trying to find ways for me to connect it and sort of really appreciate the full history, because it's quite a rich history. Maybe everyone's taking a slice of the cake, but maybe an approach where maybe I'm promoting more BBL, or maybe you guys do BBL, do NBL. Do you think that's more beneficial, or do you think actually a focused approach is more key? So I appreciate it's a really tricky question in a limited time we have perceiving, but I thought maybe it's a little thought to end on.
I feel as though, like with anything, the top leagues are going to have the most support. So whatever the highest league that's shown in this country will have the most support. And I believe that's the NBA. The NBA has the most support in this country. And that's hands down. Whenever the NBA games, well, they don't come in here anymore, but whenever they did, it was sold out instantly. There's people that come in from other countries and watch the NBA here. Then the next league will be the BBL. The BBL doesn't have as much support as the NBA, obviously, for obvious reasons. But it's still got a big support, a big following too. Then it's the NBL. And I feel as though to get the support up, there needs to be interactions with teams and the local community, and social media teams like Surrey Scorchers, their social media teams, Bristol Flyers, their social media teams, Leicester. They're interacting with fans and gaining more and more followers every day. And the more followers you get, the more following you have. So I reckon we're doing we're not doing everything we can, but we're trending in the right direction, I believe.
I think that's a really key. I say I'm definitely more interested in those platforms where there's that more interaction, like you say, and it feels a long summer, but like so Storch even when they started doing their what was it now, sock competition, throwing the sock into the box, then all the
Yeah.
high level video content. It doesn't have to be big, it can be something small like that. It sort of just grabs your attention and you're like, okay, I'll pay more attention. I think we're definitely in the right direction. We've got a little bit of time before we finish. I thought let's finish back on the game. So this is the last game of the weekend. I'm really excited for all of them. It's a 3 p.m. kickoff. Tip-off, sorry, not kickoff. Sorry, football ahead. So I was trying to think that, when you were saying how we followed this biggest thing with the NBA, BBL, and NBL. I was going to say, but I think people who are passionate about basketball, it's easy to be jealous of football, because with football, the Premier League is the NBA, and it's on our doorstep, and people they want the basketball to have that share too. But I think we've got to respect the NBA will draw the bigger crowds just of its standing in the game. I know we talked about training, Tom. What's training been like this week with Essex Rebels? What can we expect this weekend, but maybe haven't got this weekend? And what's Ross like as a coach? So we didn't talk about coach.
Yeah, practice has been good. It's been our second week of full practice. So just getting kind of we've got a lot of returners, but getting the new guys integrated. Like Ethan, I think this is now been his opportunity to kind of practice all week with us and stuff like that. It's been good to get him on board, just getting him accustomed to our offenses, defenses. Adding in a few more things that we didn't do on against Worthing. And yeah, it's been good. We're just, again, like I said, just kind of getting back into the swing of things. As I said, it's only been our second week of full practice, so we're kind of still dusting off the cobwebs a little bit. But and then talking about coach, I can't speak highly enough of him. I played for some great coaches, Lloyd, James, but Coach Ross is right up there for me. I think the main thing about coaches is he's just so passionate about the game. Equally as much as I am or any other player on the team. He's constantly watching film, constantly looking at ways he can get better. And he's approachable. He's always putting stuff in the group chat and updating the playbook and just the little things, And I think guys really appreciate that.
Definitely, and I'm looking forward to seeing some of the players blood in, like you say. I'm interested to see because you got a few guys from Ipswich. Do they instantly carry that game understanding across? And obviously you got Sam and Lee from Hemel. How differently do their games from their respective clubs change coming into Essex?
To be honest with you, I mean, they were high level players before coming to Essex. So I mean, they're a kind of, to be honest with you, that like, they play the way they play, and I wouldn't say they've changed their style so much or anything like that. But as I said, they're high level players, and if you're a high level player, you can come in and adapt to a new system or a different way of playing. And I mean, Lee and Sam. I mean, Lee's been playing for the uni for the past 4 years now. So although he hasn't been necessarily playing NBL with us, he's still accustomed to our style of play. And similarly with Sam, he's been here the past 2 years as well. Although he's been playing for Hemel, and obviously we had Leopards kind of linked to our university as well for a year. But no, they fit in great. And obviously, new guy this year, Ben Winter, Rory's brother. He's looked great so far, and obviously he's Great Britain Junior and Dame Top 50, all this stuff. So it's been great to have him on board as well.
Definitely, it's exciting times for the Rebels. All our last question for you before I let you guys go so you prepare for the weekend. Solent is pretty much going to be the similar side, but there's no players who were injured last week or anything like that. If you had to pick a couple of players from the squad who you think this weekend will have a bigger impact, who would you think be the likely lads? The minutes were shared. You guys get to know game. Who do you think to make the big impact for Solent this weekend? I know it's a team game, team philosophy, but is there a guy you think, I think he's going to have a good week this week?
Do you know what's crazy about Solent? Everybody plays between 15 and 20 minutes. So it literally could be the point guard, it could be number 1, it could be number 10. Anyone could have a good game. And I don't know who it could be. Well, I don't have a clue.
I'd say. And obviously, you're number 4. Was there a reason you're number 4 this year, or is there a story behind the numbering?
All right. So I tried to play in 13. Me and Chris, we shot for it, but Chris has been 13 for a long time, so I had to shoot with a handicap. So I shot left-handed. I lost, so he got 13. Then the real reason why I'm number 4 is because I'm a Man United fan. When I was really into football, my favorite player at the time was Juan Sebastian Varane. Yeah. He wore number 4, and that's why I'm wearing number 4.
And Tom, obviously you're number 5. Is there a reason why you're number 5, or did any of you guys in your squad have to shoot to decide the number?
I don't think anyone had to shoot for it. But yeah, number 5. I've always been number 5, to be honest with you. Is first time I kind of started playing basketball. I went to a club and I didn't know anything about basketball, and I just saw someone wearing a Boston Celtics Kevin Garnett number 5 jersey, and I was like, yeah, that's good enough for me. So that's literally it. That's the only reason why I wear it. But I've always been 5 ever since I started playing. So I've been here long enough now to kind of earn the right to retain my number, I think.
Yeah, for sure. And I say thank you for those stories. They're really nice anecdotes to hear. Some of the things maybe the fans of both of us don't really get to hear. Really appreciate both you coming on, especially at this late hour. Especially all and yourself as a father. Must be quite a lot of late nights. Normally, thank you very much for coming on. Tom, yourself, I appreciate both sparing your time to talk basketball. As I said earlier, your game's on at 3 p.m. Streamed on Basketball England. Good luck for the weekend. Thanks for coming on. Stay safe, and I hope all goes well this weekend for both of you.
Thank you. Take care. Good night.
Cheers, Chris. Thanks very much. Take it easy.
Welcome, you too.